Fulmer is the marketing manager for C&T Publishing, makers of how-to books and products for quilting, fiber arts, and mixed media. Lisa is the owner of Lisa Liza Lou Designs, selling her own work and a variety of unique art and craft supplies online and at shows. I'm so excited because today Lisa is going to show us how to create with Lutradur, which is a cross between paper and fabric. Hi, Lisa.
Hello. Somebody's asked me if I'm going to sing today, and the answer is no. I'm on day 11 of this cold. So I'm going to ask you to forgive me right now because I'm going to be talking around a cough drop. And if I do land in a coughing fit, just talk amongst yourselves and give me a second. So hello. Oh, there's my placard. I am going to be showing some pictures today. I'll call them out to Tiffany to ask for her help as I go. So do be sure to drag the gray bar away from my face because I'll be showing you some stuff while the pictures are up as well. So Lutradur, or as I like to call it in my superhero voice, Lutradur. So this is what the package looks like. Okay, it comes in 8.5 by 11 sheets. There's 10 sheets in a package. There's 5 of the 70 gram, which is a little bit lighter, and 5 of the 100 gram, which is a little bit heavier. Here's what it looks like. Okay, it's sort of translucent, as you can see. It's very fibrous. It kind of looks like a mulberry tissue paper, except that it's really strong. You can't tear it. It's made of 100% woven polyester, and what that means is that it's not a non-woven polyester, excuse me. So it's not like fabric that's woven, but it's almost like it's pressed. And what this used to be, for those of you who don't know, it used to be a roofing material. And so one day, many years ago, a number of artists, Leslie Riley included, who I'm sure many of you are familiar with, discovered its artistic qualities because it is a cross between paper and fabric. You can fold it, stamp on it, you can paint it, you can burn it. I'll show you that in a second. You can do all kinds of great stuff with it and treat it like fabric and sew it into your projects or treat it like paper. It just gives this really nice texture. Now, what I'm going to do is show you a few of the characteristics that I like the best about it. And I'm going to do that in this little project that I made right here. This is, as many of you know, I love artist trading cards. I think ATCs are a great way to experiment with lots of new techniques and products, and Lutradur is no exception to that. So this little wallet that I made, let me spread it out here. It's just a very simple accordion fold wallet. I don't have the back cover on yet. That is made from Lutradur. And as you can see, Lutradur is just a single sheet of paper. And one thing that I didn't mention is that in addition to 8.5 by 11 sheets, you can buy large sheets, 22 inches by 30 at your local art store by the single sheet. So that's what I used for this piece. And so it's just a single sheet that I folded, and you can see it holds a fold really nice and crisp. And so these become the pockets that you can hold ATCs in, and it becomes a little wallet that you can carry your ATCs when you go to a swap or some sort of a craft jam. And on the cover, I've used Lutradur to decorate the cover in a couple of different ways. So the folding is the one thing I wanted to show you that's really great. Then the painting. And Tiffany, if you could throw up slides 1 through 3, just a few seconds each, that would be great. Thank you so much for helping me with that. So this is just, and I'm going to move my own little bar over here. So the strip in the middle of this ATC is painted Lutradur. You can see the little fibers. It's just this great texture. You can paint on it just like you paint on paper. I like to use my paints a little bit watered down. Lutradur does have some flow through, so to speak, so you want to work on top of a surface. I usually put it on top of some like watercolor paper because then the paint that seeps through, it's like a twofer, right? You get some extra paint on this other paper that you can use and create backgrounds later. This piece right here, hang on to this one for half a second, Tiffany. I love showing this piece. This is actually acrylic inks that I used while wet and I continued to drip the inks on top of each other while they were still wet and let them bleed, and see how the Lutradur the fibers of the Lutradur accepts the ink, and it kind of bleeds all kinds of different ways and unpredictable. So anyway, I love painting Lutradur and then using it later for background. So this is just a random wash of some paint. I added some iridescent medium. Iridescent medium, if you don't know, is really cool stuff too. And so that's how I ended up with this sort of sparkly, shiny background. I want to show you one other thing. Tiffany, if you could put up shot number 4, please. This is a picture of weaving. And so when you paint Lutradur, it behaves a little differently. And look how cool it is when you weave it. And you can take strips of it and paint different colors and then weave them together just like paper. And you get this really tight, strong background. It's really cool, and I just love the fiber textures that you can get from that. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about besides painting was burning. Who doesn't want to burn stuff? Burning, I use a heat gun, okay? And I'm going to show you right here. It's going to get a little noisy. You can see that grass right there, how it's part of a collage, and I kind of added some little pieces of grass made from the Lutradur, and then I burned it. And burning, I'm going to start with a piece right here, and it's going to get a little noisy. So you just kind of gently tap it with a heat gun, and see the holes that it's starting to make? So you get these really lacy effects, okay? Okay, can you see how lacy that turned? And it's just a really great way to add extra dimension and texture to any project that you're working on. So on this ATC wallet, this is not Lutradur right here. This is actually some mulberry paper that comes in a string like this. It's really cool stuff. I think it's required that when you're doing Cool2Craft, excuse me, you have to say the word cool like 27,000 times. Anyway, this is the decal paper accent that I use a lot of, and what I really like about Lutradur is that it blends really nicely with these really fragile tissues like mulberry paper and stuff, but it's stronger. So it takes paint and it won't fall apart, and but it blends really nicely with these really fragile tissues. I love that. So this flower, however, I did make from Lutradur, and it's really easy. I'm going to show you how. You just take some little squares of Lutradur, cut, my little stand is falling here. You cut it into 3 little squares in 3 different sizes, okay? Then you take your squares and you cut them into a little 4-pointed flower. And you take 3 of those 4-pointed flowers and you glue them together with just a little drop of glue. Now, glue with Lutradur is a little bit, you have to experiment a little bit. Some paper glues work, some fabric glues work, some do, some don't. I really like the 3-in-1. It's like the most toxic of craft glues, which is kind of not really good, but it holds anything and everything. I do like this glue a lot. But several other glues work just as well. You just have to experiment with it. The polyester, it just kind of depends. So anyway, I glued these 3 together with just a little drop in the middle. Now I'm going to take and distress it. I'm going to hold it with a pair of tweezers because the heat gun gets hot. And I'm going to distress it just a little bit so that the petals get some texture. So bear with me. And the thing about burning is that it's really easy to overdo it. So you kind of have to be patient. And you can accidentally burn it all away. So just when you think it's hot enough, it might get too hot. Okay, so then you can just kind of manipulate it until you're happy with it. Start over if you're not happy with it. Okay, just play around with it. And what you'll end up with is a flower that you can then spritz with a little bit of, a little bit of memory mist or Tattered Angel's Glimmer Mist. And I will tell you that if you paint or mist your Lutradur first, it will burn slower, and that could be desirable if you want a little bit more control because it is a little bit unpredictable. But, it's distressing, so you kind of are looking for that unpredictability. So that's what I put here, and I added a little shell to the middle of it. Now you can run, the one nice thing about Lutradur coming in 8.5 by 11 sheets is that you can run it right through your inkjet printer. So if you run it through by itself, you get a really soft image like this, okay? Really, really soft because it is kind of translucent, so the ink kind of flows through the fibers and doesn't stay on the surface. However, so a soft image could be cool. However, if you want a really image to really pop like this, then you want to coat the Lutradur first, just paint some clear medium on top. You can use gold and have something called digital grounds. You can use clear gesso or any kind of clear gloss or clear matte medium from Liquitex. And if you paint it first and let it dry and then run it through, then your ink sits right up on top and you can get really beautiful, crisp images, just like you were printing on photo paper, but still retain the translucent and the sort of textural quality.